All right. We have another game for you here today, and ooh, we do not want those enhanced graphics right off the bat. We are here with the 19 pop Lithuanian Monk Rush, and boy, oh boy, is this a strategy and a half. I tried this on a whole bunch of 1v1 quick plays, but this was my first attempt at trying it at the big leagues. This is a 2v2 at about 2k team game elo with a rando. I was like, you know what? If this strategy holds up in quick play, we're bringing it right out into the real world. And sure enough, it held up very, very nicely. But now what? Will it hold up against players who are competent? Against players that know what they are doing? Now, before we get into all of that, I want to talk a little bit about the build order for this. So the build order is actually quite simple. We're going to start off by going for a total of 10 onto food. And after those 10 onto food, we're going to move into 4 onto wood, which is just a super strange build order to say the least. But the reason that we do that is that we have just enough food and just enough wood to click up to castle with only 19 population, which is insanity to me, to say the least. Now, why would you pick Lithuanians rather than Khmer? People have asked me. Well, I think Lithuanians is particularly good because Lithuanian knights also benefit from the additional attack that you get from collecting the relics. And collecting the relics is a way to offset the loss of your economy by going up so dang quickly. Personally, I just think this is a really, really cool strategy, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I think especially on lower elos, this strategy holds a lot of mallet to it. However, since we are Lithuanian, God, we have free killed sheep. Okay, you want to try and minimize, obviously, for this build, the amount of stuff that you have killed. Thankfully, we had 4 deer, so it's not the... No! Did I say 19 pop Lithuanian Monk Rush? I meant 18 pop Lithuanian Monk Rush. My goodness, I was not aware that that woman bit the dirt, but that just goes to show that this strategy is not for play. This strategy is for real. A lot going on, very minimal amount of time to talk about it. In the teal, we have my teammate who is a rando. He also picked Lithuanians, but at the last moment when I told him that I wanted to get all of the relics, he decided to go for Ethiopians instead. I have to jump back because it's very important that I show you that we're constructing a market and a blacksmith with a high number of villagers. We are doing this because we're only picking up Loom so that we can more quickly click to castle age. We are also selling both of we're selling our 200 stone in order to get the gold required. That's why we haven't had any gold miners yet. As soon as this occurs, we are sending 2 villagers forward, and we also have relatively good scouting of where the relics may be. We want to place our monastery next to possible relic points. Our opponents. In the orange, we have Turks. I wonder what Turks is going to go for. Jannies, or Fast Imperials. Don't mean to criticize this mining camp too much, but that is definitely a low elo mining camp right there. But hey, what do I know? I'm a pretty low elo kind of player myself. Dave in the red is playing as the Khmer, and Khmer, like we mentioned before, is also just a really, really strong civ on arena, and actually a very strong contender for the monk rush as well. I'm going to spend some time and some research trying to figure out if the monk rush is better with Khmer or with Lithuanians. As of now, I'm convinced Lithuanians. We have a whole big scuffle going on in the middle over here. They're trying to snipe these villagers. They know something funky is going on, but we have more is green and teal on my side against red and orange, and we're just trying to keep them away, give me a chance to get that monastery up. And this is where the real craziness unfolds. I know I've kind of been rushing through this a little bit, but I just want to show you the nuttiness. So Orange is like, okay. I'm going to lose this scout fight. I got to get out of here. I know what time it is. John, see ya, but let's me into Red's base. As this is going on with our 18 strong population, they are strong Lithuanian villagers. We are trying to construct 2 monasteries and to pump out as many monks as possible to collect as many relics as we can to make up for the fact that our economy is trash. I mean, look at the amount of villagers that we have in comparison to our ally and both of our enemies. Once we have the 2 monasteries up, we're also going to go for a siege workshop. And wait a second, that's a knight attacking my scout. Beautiful, I think to myself. If we can just lure him to my monk, because he's not expecting monks at this time. And I'm just laughing, I'm smiling over here. I already know what time it is. Convert the monk over the wall. We have a monk. Well, I guess just a knight and a scout in his base, but the monk can heal from outside the wall, so it kind of is also protection. And what an absolute gem of a game this is. We're also trying to make our monks stronger by picking up Sanctity. And we're also going to rush up Redemption once we do have about 3 or 4 monks out. Little sip of the beverage. I think I deserve this for casting all of this within just 7 minutes. My goodness. So it begins. We have the economic disadvantage, but I'm hoping to make up for that by means of collecting those relics and by means of putting immediate pressure onto Red. Now, I was quite lucky here that Red decided to go for knights. If he had gone for archers, that would have been a lot harder to convert. And look who's showing up talking about archers. My Ethiopian teammate is here to support in no short of time. Freedom! Free the knight! There are all of our monks, and there is a castle right on the front. We definitely don't want that castle to go up. And with these monks, we can actually deny that castle, because if these knights were to hop in on those crossbows, conversion after conversion after conversion. Now, sadly, redemption is not in yet. Once you do get redemption, you want to target buildings like this stable that I have selected right here and start converting these as quickly as possible. This will allow you an avenue to produce military forwards without having to spend any of your wood. You can see how bad our economy is at home. There is redemption, there is the conversion. I was also hoping, like, by doing this, that knights would be popping out on this side that we could then convert. But this game, it turns into an absolute dumpster fire for us, which is quite hilarious to say the least. Get that one? No. No such luck indeed. This castle, also a very, very patient castle, only being constructed by 3 villagers. I think Red could have definitely rushed that up a little bit faster, and these monks are out of position, so he definitely could have put more pressure to get this up, in my opinion. We're putting pressure on the CC, realizing now that there are janissaries behind that are going to be able to snipe our ram. This is what we can see right now, so we don't know exactly what's in the back here. Was hoping that we could find something to hit, but no such luck. Another thing that I did not like that I did in this game is I feel like I went for way too many monks. I think I could have definitely minimized the amount of monks that I did go for. I think the perfect number for the 19 pop Lithuanian monk rush is probably like 4 or 5. Because even if you have each one of these control grouped, right? It just becomes like such a fumble, mumble, stumble moment. So if you have 5, I think you can probably manage that. If you have 8, you have 8 control keys ready for this. Another thing that I could have done is I could have definitely converted more of these houses. Actually, once I saw that this ram was idle for such a long period of time, I was like, oh yeah, I can convert houses with my monks. So there we go. Wololo. At home, we're finally getting that second TC up. We definitely need to balance out our eco a little bit better as well as we're doing this strategy. I mean, just look how much gold we have in that bank that we are simply not able to spend. After doing this a couple of times, I think 5 on gold is definitely the magic number. And once you have all of your monks out, even removing 2 more out of the 5, only leaving 3 is perfect. So we've been forward for quite a long period of time. It doesn't look like he's getting this castle up. And oh, he went for a mango and we got the conversion on it. I figured move my villagers forward. Get enough stone collected to just drop a castle and deny this forever. Unfortunate on the and unfortunate on that as well. Stop, Ethiopian archers. Stop. You're killing too dang quickly. Let me have some fun. Let me convert the enemy stuff. 2 villager construction of a castle. You never want to do this just because it takes so flippin' long to do. And he could just dive these and kill them. So we did bring a whole bunch more villagers over just to keep up with this pressure. This game was so much fun. Until we kind of poop lorded the bed. Poop lording the bed was not so good. I'm like at a loss of words because I don't even know. Like, what would you do in this situation? Where do you go from here? I guess we just kind of put more pressure onto Red, try and slow squeeze him. I also figured this castle is not a great castle, right? But it's in range of my castle, so I could potentially use my rams to ram that castle down if those janissaries weren't behind to shoot it. I really do love doing that. And I also figured this would be a perfect opportunity to construct a castle here because if the Janissaries do go for these rams, which they are, they're probably going to go down, which is fine, but then at least I get this castle up, which wouldn't allow the orange player to reinforce his ally with more Janissaries. It looks like at this point that we might, just might, be able to full kill Red. However, Jannies and castles on the front. I think this was actually pinged by my teammate and he was kind of laughing about it because that castle is going to go up before this castle goes up, which means that all of this is going to be bye-bye deny. I think even at higher elos, just taking that initiative of the what? That petard came all the way from over here. I was not aware of that petard at all. That is glorious. Maybe we overdid it on the castles as well, but I want the full squeeze here, man. Full squeeze. The monkey boys are over here. We want to like eradicate Red completely from all of existence. I'm going to speed this up because this is quite a long game, but an enjoyable game nonetheless. Oh, F, I'm thinking to myself. Him going Imperial is actually very, very bad for us. The reason that him going Imperial is so bad is because now he's going to get a Treb out, and with these Janissaries and with his castle, he's actually able to Treb down all 4 of my castles. An overinvestment into castles on my end for sure. And red is also sneakily escaping over here, which I did not notice. I couldn't see this. Everybody is welcome in God's house. This is God's house right here. And you know what? It's not. Yeah, I think I pinged this to my ally. I did. Oh no. My ally pinged this to me. Oh, I am bad at this game. Because these knights should have immediately run over to that. But I guess I got distracted with the Treb, which is protected by means of quick, cheeky house walls. And now that's gonna go down. But at least we can still get this one woman and that woman. And yeah, overall, I'm feeling not too bad about the situation, especially since we've boomed up to about 84 pop on free TCs at home. And what I should have done is really construct less monks. I have 15 monks, and I don't know if you're familiar with Poop Lord Micro, but it's not very good. And there are a lot of Hussar over here that could absolutely wreck smack my day. We're trying to work on Imperial Age ourselves, and we're thinking about what we're going to be teching into in the long term. And obviously, since we have all 4 of these relics, Lithuanian knights or paladin or cavalier or whatever we might get to seems like a very, very wise decision. I figured this would be a perfect place for me to place those stables and get absolutely smashed by oranges, hussars, trebuchets. And where did all this light cav come from? I look away for like 1 second and there's 22 light cav over here. Good luck trying to convert that, Poop Lord. Thankfully, I do think that we maybe are able to pick off some of the trebs, and oh no, the full surround is coming in on our forces. There is no way that we even get 1 conversion over this. And as I was playing this game, I look over to the chat for just a second, and everybody's going, GG, good throw. Good job, Poop Lord. I'm like, no, I still have 6 monks. I can still do this. I believe. We're also letting all of our buddies, Arbs and Skirmishers die. Thankfully, he has teched into Pikeman himself, which will eventually turn into Halberdier. I hope Ethiopians get Halberdier. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me whether or not they do. I'm casting this one for YouTube while on stream. That is definitely a first for me. Whew. Actually, not as many Arbs died in that as I thought it was. And there go all of our relics. F. I'm putting my face in my Android now because I remember how this one goes. Absolutely cleared up everything on the front. He's just dropping farms down. Doesn't even need TCs. This trebuchet over here doing a little wiggle. At home, however, we are building stable after stable after stable. Our eco is good. We're going to get as many upgrades as we possibly can. We may not have the relics, but we have flippin' heart. I asked once, how does one do the Huang rush? And the people in Huang's chat told me, just be brave. I feel like sometimes that's all that you need in a strategy, is to believe that the strategy is good. And sure as flip that we believe the strategy was good. We saw a gross oversight over here. We saw that the Haub and the Arb were going to come in to protect. So we decided to go for a monk to simply pick up all of these relics again, giving our knights +4 attack once more. Let's go, Teal. Let's go. Producing from as many stables as we possibly can, and those numbers are quickly increasing. We're also pretty terribly housed. Don't look at how terribly housed we are. Military numbers are in our favor. Building numbers, no, villager numbers are in our favor. Is there still hope for the slowpoke who got last to Imperial Age? There's only one way to find out. Look at this cheeky monk over here. He's like, oh, cool. It's a good thing that we constructed 2 monasteries for this strategy. It's a 200 IQ play. What can I say? I knew exactly what was going to happen, so I decided, you know what? Better build 2 monasteries. Now, I think the 2 monasteries just makes a lot of sense for the 19 pop Lithuanian strategy, just so that you can get more monk numbers out. But truthfully, you only need about 4 or 5. Getting that last defense upgrade seemed a lot more important than getting more attack upgrades. We only have 1 attack upgrade so far, but our guys still have +5 attack because we have 4 of those relics in the bank. As long as this monastery does not get targeted, we should be totally fine. Bad things never happen to the Lord, except all those times that they do. Janissaries, though, no joke against our units. They absolutely shred us, so we do have to disengage. And I was a little bit concerned at the freaking enormous ball of Jannies that he has. 43 elite Janissaries hitting with 22 attack against our 6 pierce armor. Or do they hit melee? I forget. Regardless, we're taking like almost 20 damage every single time that one of those duders hits us. It's a bad time. It's a bad time overall. I was hoping that Teal would have more ARBs, but his ARB number is actually really small at this moment. So it's very difficult for us to engage against these Jannies. And respect for Red for going for Ballista Elephants. I did kind of like this situation over here and felt like we could get a good surround. Teal also came in with additional ARBs, so I felt like this was the time to strike. Let's go! Let's go! But look at the total amount of health there. The amount of Jannies there are absolutely destroying us. Plus with that choke, plus with that castle, it's not as favorable of an engage as I felt like it was. But with that being said, those Jannies are going to be quite difficult to replace for Orange, as he only has 1 castle to produce them from. Whereas we have like, what, 7 stables all producing, getting our numbers up instantaneously. Look at this guy. Oh. Moonwalk Joe over there is chilling. Now, it's very important that you don't just trickle your guys in. So we did kind of group them up over here safely next to this monastery, which has been very holy to us, where nothing bad ever happens. And if we can just get into Orange's base, I believe at this point I said to Teal, get a petard. Like, get a petard, see if we can petard our way through over here. Not realizing that there was already a hole over here. I mean, let me look at my perspective over here. Wait, that's definitely not my perspective over here. Come on, Capture Age. Do what you're supposed to. Well, I guess we did know. I guess I just wasn't paying attention to that. We are the ones forcing the fights, though. So that is very good for us. He was not able to replenish his janissaries quickly enough. The petards are smacking into... I think I said blow him up or something. Maybe I said blow him a new bleep. But we are into Orange's base, and at this point the GG comes in. No re. What an absolutely crazy game. And yeah, the monastery still stands. I know that some of you were probably thinking, what? I thought the monastery was going to go down. GG, well played, very good sportsmanship. 105 ARBs. We're probably not too far off in terms of military numbers there. Look at this timeline over here. That's when he loses all of his ARBs. That's when he loses all of his ARBs, and when I lose all of my cavalier. You can also see when I absolutely get all of my monks wiped. That was a very, very unfortunate turn of events. Wait. I guess that's not the worst KD. It's pretty close to 1 stands to 1. Very even game, very fun game, very interesting game, very interesting strategy. Overall, I really thoroughly enjoyed playing this one. And you know what that means, guys? Just keep walking. Keep having fun. And remember, don't let your memes just be dreams. Poopler out.